Hey everyone, today we are going to look at substitution, but part 2. With this substitution, we have a variable solved for. We're still going to plug into that second equation, but if you notice that both equations are not solved for a variable, only one is. All right, so we're going to plug that into that second equation, just like what we did on part 1. However, now that this is not solved for on the second equation. So I'm going to plug in this 3y into the x in that second equation and write it back out. All right, so we have 3y plugged in where the x is. So now we have 3 times 3y, which gives us 9y. We're going to go ahead and bring down that minus 5y equals 12. If you will, then 9 minus 5 gives you 4y equals 12. And y equals 3 once you divide. Now, go back, remember, and plug into one of your equations at the top. The easiest is the very top equation. So what is 3 times 3? And that will give you your x. Remember to please write it in a coordinate as your solution. 9, 3 is your answer. All right, so the second equation, you have y equals 2x plus 6. So your y is already solved for. You're going to plug all of that in to where the y is on the second equation. All right, so we plugged it into our y. If you notice that minus sign right in front of your parentheses from your top equation, that minus sign is going to go to each term. So really we have 2x minus 2x minus 6. And it equals 2. So this is kind of like a 1 here, and it would distribute to each term. Okay, so 2x minus 2x is 0. And we're left with negative 6 equals 2. If this happens and this number does not match this number, it is no solution. Okay, that means that these two lines are parallel to each other if we were to graph them. And so we don't actually have that intersection point, that solution point. Okay, for this one, I have x equals negative 2y plus 13. So I'm going to plug into the x in the second equation. All right, so you can see that I plugged in that negative 2y plus 13 into the second equation here. Your distributive property, be sure you be careful with the negatives and you're doing appropriate. So negative 2 times negative 2 is 4y. Negative 2 times 13 is negative 26, or we write down minus 26. I'm going to bring down my minus 3y, and I'll bring down my negative 18. Okay, so 4y minus 3y gives you 1, and bring down the rest of your equation. I will have to add to get the 26 to the other side. And y equals, what is 26 minus 18? And you should get 8. Plug that into one of these two equations up here. It's a horrible arrow. So negative 2, so x equals negative 2 times 8 plus 13. So negative 16 plus 13, x equals negative 3. Plug all that back into one coordinate, negative 3, 8. All right, second equation. Try doing this one on your own. You're going to take that top equation, plug in to the bottom one, check back and see if you got it correct. All right, so hopefully you got this and you distributed the 2 to everything. And you got 72 plus 10y plus y equals negative 16. Make it look like a 7. So you should have gotten 72 plus 11y equals negative 16. minus that 72 to the other side. Bring down your 11y. Combine those to be negative 88. And y equals negative 8. So plug that back in. X equals 36 plus 5 times negative 8. So 5 times negative 8 would give you negative 40 or minus 40. 36 minus 40 would give you negative 4. Plug that into a coordinate. Negative 4, comma, negative 8. And that's what you'd be looking for as your solution. All right, one last thing. For one solution, remember your graph intersects at one point. So just like that last example where we had negative 4, negative 8, it worked out great. You could plug back in. You found an x and a y. Okay, and now for this, for a no solution, we had an example, but remember our x's ended up canceling each other out. And we had something like this where maybe negative 6 equals 2. This on the left side does not match the same number on the right. And we can show it like this. That would be a no solution where the slopes are the same. And infinitely many solutions, remember, that's when one line sits on top of the other one. It's exactly the same equation. It might not look like it, but if you work it out for y, it is the same equation. So maybe you would have 7 equals 7 if you're solving by substitution, or maybe 0 equals 0, something like that, where this left number matches the right number. And we can show it like this. All right, so that's it for today. If you have questions, let us know.